Welcome to the Everyday is Saturday podcast, the #1 motivation show on the planet.
No more Mondays for you. It's time to make every day Saturday. Boom!
This is the podcast where we help you to accept who you are, not where you are.
On the roller coaster of life, you know we only sit in the front seat, champion. So make sure you are fastened and tight. Let's go!
Tired of feeling run down all the time during the week? We can help you make every day feel like it's a Saturday.
Let's go. Pack your bags. It's time to leave Averageville.
Introducing the man who thinks abnormal stands for above normal.
When you're on fire, people will travel from miles around to watch you burn, baby. We are fired up.
The host of the Everyday is Saturday show, Sam Crowley.
Hello, champion, and welcome back to the Everyday is Saturday podcast, a actual Saturday podcast, October 28th. I'm leaving Austin, Texas, after spending a couple days down here. I want to share with you what was happening in Austin, why I was here. Before we go any further, if you did not see the email I sent out last week, we have 2 openings left. Looking for individuals who want to come on board our case study program, where we launch your podcast, create the $1 million message with you, your marketing plan, your monetization plan, all of that. But there's 2 requirements, attitude and commitment. Got to be super high on both. Great attitude, big commitment, because we're doing it all in just 60 days. If you want to be considered for our case study program, where you're inside of our mastermind group that entire time for 60 days, learning and growing and reaching and being around all the other awesome sauce and excellent people in there, shoot me an email, sam@everydayissaturday.com. We'll get on a Zoom call and figure out if it's a good fit. All right, let's dive into today's show. So I arrived in Austin a couple days ago as part of my quarterly mastermind meetings, the mastermind group that I am in. So every quarter we gather in Austin. What's funny, I have not been to Austin prior to this year. This is my 3rd time in 2023 down here. I was down here in April and July previous to now. And boy, this city, the growth is just ridiculous. I was here once 10 years ago, and it is absolutely booming. I mean, crazy. Great energy. So love my time here. Arrived here on Thursday, flew direct from Cincinnati, and my plan was to get 18 holes because I'm staying at a swanky, danky resort. Yep, I'm that guy. I'm at a place where there are, I think, 5 or 6 different courses on the property. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's the Omni Barton Resort. And if you ever get a chance to stay here, holy cow, jump on it. One issue, though, it's tough to golf in a driving rainstorm. So that's what I arrived to Thursday morning. I know, high-class problem. Your boy couldn't get 18 in. That's okay. Found other things to do. Went to the gym, worked on my laptop, watched the Bills game. You know, they won, which is always nice. You guys don't know I'm a Buffalo Bills fan and a Bengals fan, but Bills first, Bengals second in our home. And as far as the trip down here, yes, first class the whole way and on the return flight today as well. Always fly first class. Why? Because the cost is so negligible compared to the experience. I'm all about experience. That's why people will buy from you, for the experience. If you buy it, I'm talking maybe just a couple months ahead of time if you plan your travel. And sometimes you don't even need to plan that far ahead. But I booked this trip back in August. First class was maybe, I think, $500 round trip from Cincinnati direct to Austin. Coach was $350. I mean, are you kidding me? For $150? All the free bags you want to check. I didn't check any, but if you did, free. That's $50 a pop. You had a couple bags, there's $100. And not being herded in like cattle to the back of the plane and everybody doing a cage wrestling match to try to get the overhead compartment. Not interested in that. I will kindly sit in my seat 2A, fire up my downloaded shows on Netflix, and watch away. So fly first class, always. I'm telling you, it's probably not nearly expensive as you think it is. And if you already do that, congratulations, then you have that right mindset. So meetings kicked off yesterday. Why am I in a mastermind? Why would I pay 80 grand to get a seat at the table? Because I want to be around individuals. I never want to be the smartest person in the room. That rarely happens anyway, to be honest. But I definitely don't want to be the smartest person in any room. And I want to learn and grow, and I want to reach as far to the stars as I possibly can. And these meetings are a lot about mindset, strategy, marketing, and of course, money. Some people are earning millions of dollars a month, some are earning millions of dollars a year, but I never really measure any success by dollars anyway. I'm just not impressed by money. I think it's a great way to keep score. Don't get me wrong. If you're a multimillionaire, kudos to you. I think it's awesome. I would never rob you of that blessing. I think, especially in the Christian faith, where I spend a lot of my time, people are way too obsessed with the broker, poor you are, to closer to God you are. I don't believe that for a minute. I think God wants us all to prosper spiritually, health, and financially. There's got to be a balance there. The love of money, for the love of money, is the root of all evil. I don't love money. I love providing for my family, though, and growing up how I did. If you know anything about my background, you know I come from very humble beginnings. Not here to compare who had the worst childhood. I'm just letting you know that I've been broke and I've had a couple bucks in my pocket. I prefer the latter over the former. So inside the room, we talked a lot about mindset and, like I said as well, about marketing. I think the one takeaway, so if I had to say in an entire day, I got downtown Austin, took my Uber from the hotel down there, got downtown to the office about 8:30 in the morning. We kicked off around 9:30. Got back to my room around 9:30 last night. So it was a long day. We had a little bit of fun Friday night after, but for the most part, it was just meetings, meetings. And when I say meetings, I don't mean boring meetings like corporate meetings where some stuffed shirt gets up there on a whiteboard and you just stare at them with your eyes glazed over, wishing the clock would hit 5 o'clock. No, these were, I would say, an experience. Yeah, very well facilitated, very well led. Everybody around the room sharing ideas. The one thing that always pops up to me when I'm in these mastermind meetings is how much people value their time. It's amazing. I mean, you can't get, these are business owners, you can't get to them. And it's not because they don't like people, they love people. But you know what they love even more? Their time. Nobody creates a business so you can spend all of your time inside of your email or chat or texting or support or anything like that. You want to spend time with the people that you love, doing the things that you love to do once you have built your business and put a big barrier between that front line and you. And it's perfectly normal. I mean, think about any business. You're not getting Jeff Bezos' email. Hey, Jeff, where's my package? It's supposed to arrive Saturday morning. It's late. No, you know what I mean? So you got to think in terms of that. And that's always when I walk away from, they say, wow, these people really know how to value their time. They'll create products, they'll create their own mastermind groups or coaching programs and things like that. But they also have systems in place to where their best use of their time is thinking and growing their brand and spending time doing the things, like I mentioned, that they really love to do. They don't build a business so they can be a slave to it. They build a business for the opposite. They want to be free. That's why I launched Every Day is Saturday. I didn't launch Every Day is Saturday so I could make every day Monday and just sit there and answer emails all day long or agonize about this or that or this, sales funnel, this landing page, this video, even this podcast. It's a grip it and rip it show. I've never scripted out a podcast audio, this one included. I never will. It's not because I'm unprepared. It's because the most important thing that I believe is when I was listening to audios 25 years ago on my iPod Nano, that little thing you'd strap to your arm that was about the size of the tip of a pen, I'd go for runs and I would listen to audios. I had no interest. I would fast forward through the intro if it was an audio book or a podcast like this. I wanted to get right to the meat and I just wanted the content, And I think that's another important concept. Let me talk about content as well, because I know we have a lot of people listening to this podcast that you create your own content, whether it's written, audio, video, or something like that. If you want to be successful with an online brand, all right, you give away the knowledge and then you sell the implementation. So this podcast, I've heard it from a lot of people. Why do you give it away? You're giving away like all your best stuff. Of course I give away. I mean, I want my best stuff out there. If I get hit by a bus later on today, I want to make sure that I gave everything I had, because here's the thing. When people consume your content, the one thing they're lacking is, that's great, I got the information, but how do I do it? Well, that's what you sell. You give away the knowledge and you sell the implementation. That's another big thing that came away from yesterday's meeting. And not just yesterday, but every time I'm around these men and women, super successful entrepreneurs, I get that. I get how much they value their time. I get how they scale, how they can add more revenue by not adding more hours to their daily calendar, and then how they give away a lot of knowledge and then they sell the implementation. Our 90-day podcasting mastermind is geared around giving away all the knowledge. Give it away. This is how you launch your podcast, market it, monetize it. But if you want to really implement these strategies, and I'm talking about building a podcast as an asset. All right, this is an asset for you. It's a brand new audience that you're building and you're growing it. Now, if you're going to want to build this as an asset, you're going to want to be inside of our mastermind. You have all the knowledge in the world. Everybody can Google how to launch a podcast, all right? You can watch any YouTube video. But in order to implement that with ease and with great strategies, that's why you got to be in our mastermind. So that's another thing I took away. It just reaffirmed of giving away the knowledge and selling the implementation. And I think the third thing, we'll end with this one. I think the third thing is that the mindset of successful people is they don't obsess about why things don't work. They either find a solution to it, their team, hire somebody to find a solution to whatever problem they have, or they find a different way to do it. Or they just simply kill the idea. They don't sit around for days and weeks and hours on end and bang their head against a wall if it's a square peg trying to go into a round hole. They either find a way to work around that, and they either get a different way to do it, a different idea. They go into the mastermind. They come here like we did to figure out how to get it done. And sometimes it's just not a good idea right now, and you move along, But the thing they don't do, and I go back to the first point, is what they do not waste their time, okay? So that is huge because so many solopreneurs and entrepreneurs will spend endless hours agonizing over why something won't work. And they don't prioritize. Is this really a big deal? Let me tell you, like a 911 situation with me would be, hey, my podcast is not uploading. Why is it not showing on iTunes? That's a big deal. I got to figure that out. A lesser one that's not a 911 issue that I wouldn't sit around and agonize too much over is maybe something like, I'm trying to edit this. I'm trying to insert a piece of audio that it's going to sound really cool for my podcast, a clip of this or that, or I'm working inside this video and I can't really get, edited just the way I want it. Let it go. Move along. Either upload the audio or video as is or kill it. Move on to a different thing. All right. Don't sit around, trying to get, turn this 10-cent problem into $1 million deal. You know what I mean? It's just not everything is that important. And it just is a complete waste of time unless it is something, and only you can tell if that's a huge priority for you or not. But being inside this room, I figured out real quick, there's a lot of things that we turn into big problems that really aren't. Work around it, let it go, move along. You're wasting time and you're stuck. And the one thing you don't ever want to be is stuck. You always want to be moving forward. Remember, things in motion, they tend to stay in motion. And okay, this would be the last one. So I lied. This is item number 4. This is really the last one, is the mindset shift of if you sell products or you are a coach, a consultant, the mindset that is in this room is it makes no sense why someone would not buy from me. Absolutely. It just does not even make any sense at all. That's a big shift. When you first get started, like, man, I hope this works. I hope somebody buys. And that shows up in your marketing and your messaging. If you have Zoom calls like I do, where you close people on a Zoom call, you sell your product. And by the way, that's a great term. I think people get way too caught up in the vernacular, like, hey, what's your closing ratio? Well, geez, closing sounds, no, that's a business term. Closing ratio means if 10 people show up on a Zoom call, how many of them do you sell? 3, then your closing ratio is 30%. If it's 1.5, then your closing ratio is 15%. It's a number. It's a stat. It's the way we measure success. You can't manage what you don't measure. So how would you ever know you got to get better if you didn't have terms like that or measure things like that? But the mindset of the people in this room was, it makes absolutely, like, why wouldn't somebody buy from it? It doesn't even make any sense. That's why they do so well with their products and their services, is because they have such an incredible belief, not only in their product, but in themselves. And man, that shows up. Like I said, it shows up everywhere in your marketing, in your messaging, how you talk. I'm always shocked. When I have a call with someone, I am absolutely shocked why they would not join our mastermind group. It just, and I don't say that. I'm like, oh my God, you can knock me over with a feather. But in my mind, it's not the product. They love the product. It's just not a good fit at that time. And I'm not here to beat the fish in the boat. That's the worst thing you can do, is try to convince somebody to the point where if you were to hard sell them, now I don't like that term. That kind of really is. I'm not a hard sell. Don't have no interest. I'm there to encourage somebody. I'm there to sell them on their dream. Okay. But if you were to get somebody that you had to beat the fish into the boat, my God, you've got maybe a refund issue, buyer's remorse issue, just a bad fit in your group or in your program. They're not going to really enjoy it because of the way they entered the program. So that last thing about it doesn't even make any sense why somebody wouldn't buy, that's huge. And that's the belief of everybody that was in this room. So we wrapped everything up last night. I came back with pages and pages of notes and ideas and strategies to keep me going through the end of 2023 and into 2024. And I'll be sharing these on our Mastermind call next Wednesday with our group. Always like to bring this information back to help them, share my notes with them, let them know what I learned. But for the podcast listener out there today, I'm telling you right now, it's the mindset. It's never the information. It's always the implementation and the fact you even believe that you deserve this kind of lifestyle, that you deserve the success that you're going after. And I wouldn't necessarily measure success in dollars and cents out of the get-go. Okay, it's important. I'm not trying to minimize that. But success is staying in the game, not being taken off the track, not having, that negative voice in your mind talk you out of doing something that you absolutely know deep down that you have got to do this, like you are being called to do this. That's the mindset. All right. So I hope this helped. I'll be catching my flight back in a few hours here, leaving Austin Airport, back to Cincinnati, home with the family tonight on a Saturday night. Hope this planted a seed in good soil. All right. Share it with somebody who needs to hear it. And say it with me, gang. Have the best day ever. And that's a wrap. Another Everyday Saturday podcast in the books. Thanks so much for listening. Would you do your boy a favor? Would you get on iTunes or wherever you listen to the Everyday Saturday podcast and leave a rating for the show? It helps amazing people like you find the show faster. And that's what I'm looking for. Amazing people like you. Hey, I'm always hanging out on the interwebs. You can check me out on Instagram at EverydayIsSaturday. Let me know you're listening to the show. Love hearing from fans of the Everyday Saturday podcast. And one last thing, when you're ready to launch, get on my calendar. Go to launchwithsam.com. You and I are going to work together to set rocket fuel to your dream. Are you ready? Let's do it. I'll see you on the next Everyday is Saturday podcast.